The sound of laughter hits me before I process the words. It starts as a single snicker. Margaret, I think, before rippling through the conference room like a virus. 30 faces stare at me, some trying to hide their smirks behind coffee cups, others openly grinning. My presentation slides still glow on the screen behind me, the culmination of 3 months of work. 3 months I'll never get back. Well, Leandro says, leaning back in his chair at the head of the table. What's the word I'm looking for? He taps his chin, performing thoughtfulness. Ah, yes, pathetic. More laughter. The word pathetic echoes in my skull, bouncing around until it drowns out everything else. My hands are trembling, but I force them still against the smooth wood of the conference table. I'm Rosalie Fernandez, youngest executive in the firm's history. I don't tremble. The client specifically asked for innovative. Leandro continues, his voice dripping with false concern. This is derivative at best, amateur at worst. Did you even look at the brief? Of course I looked at the brief. I lived and breathed that brief for weeks. But the words won't come. My throat is dessert dry as I watch my career crumbling in real time. I can explain, I start, but Leandro cuts me off with a wave of his hand. No need, we'll have Eleanor take over the Campbell account. She actually understands our standards. Eleanor shoots me a sympathetic look that doesn't reach her eyes. Meeting dismissed. Rosalie, stay behind. The room empties quickly, the air thick with whispered conversations and backward glances. Margaret pauses at the door, mouth open like she wants to say something, then hurries out. The click of the door closing sounds like a gunshot. Sit, Leandro commands. I remain standing. The numbers support my approach, I say, finding my voice. The market research. He laughs, standing to face me. You really don't get it, do you? This isn't about market research. This is about knowing your place. The fluorescent lights suddenly feel too bright, too harsh. My skin prickles with awareness of how alone we are. My place? The words come out barely above a whisper. You've been pushing too hard, too fast, making waves. Some of the old guard are uncomfortable with your methods. He steps closer, close enough that I can smell his expensive cologne. Consider this a reminder of the natural order of things. The realization hits me like a physical blow. The canceled meetings, the missing emails, the subtle undermining that I'd dismissed as paranoia. It wasn't incompetence, it was sabotage. You set me up. The words taste like acid. I gave you enough rope to hang yourself. His smile doesn't waver. Take the rest of the day off. Clear your head. Come back tomorrow, ready to be a team player. I gather my laptop with mechanical precision, my movements careful and controlled. Inside, something is building. Not just anger, but something colder, more dangerous. Oh, and Rosalie? He calls as I reach the door. Delete that presentation. We wouldn't want it accidentally ending up in the wrong hands. I turn back, meeting his eyes. Of course not. But I already sent copies to my personal email last night, along with every other project file I've worked on for the past year, along with the emails proving Leandro altered my original brief, along with the recording of him telling Margaret to accidentally delete my backup files. I've spent my whole career being underestimated, being told to wait my turn, pay my dues, know my place. Today, Leandro thought he was teaching me a lesson about power. Instead, he taught me something far more valuable. Sometimes, the only way to win a rigged game is to burn the whole thing down. I walk out of the office into the bright afternoon sun, my heels clicking against the pavement in perfect rhythm. My phone buzzes, a text from Lincoln, my old colleague, who left to start his own consulting firm last year. Heard about the meeting. Call me. Think I might have an interesting proposition for you. A smile spreads across my face as I slide into my car. Leandro has no idea what he just started, but he's about to find out exactly what happens when you back the wrong person into a corner. I open my laptop and start typing. My apartment feels different in the dark, quieter, more honest. I've been sitting here for hours, watching the city lights flicker through my windows while my mind races through the events of the day. My laptop screen glows with dozens of open tabs, email threads, project files, meeting notes, the digital breadcrumbs of my systematic humiliation. The wine in my glass has gone warm, barely touched. I should feel destroyed. Instead, I feel something crystallizing inside me, sharp-edged and dangerous. My phone buzzes again. Lincoln, for the third time. I finally answer. "You're not answering your door," he says, instead of hello, "because I'm not in the mood for company." Too bad. I brought Thai food and information. Open up. I sigh, padding to the door. Lincoln stands there with 2 bags of takeout and that infuriating know-it-all smile he always wore at the firm. "You look terrible," he says, pushing past me. Charming as ever, but I can't help smiling as he starts unpacking containers onto my coffee table. The familiar smell of pad thai fills the air, grounding me. "So," he says, settling onto my couch, "want to hear something interesting about our friend Leandro?" My hand freezes halfway to the food. "What kind of interesting?" "The kind that explains why he's suddenly so desperate to push you out." Lincoln pulls out his phone, scrolling through emails. "Remember that Campbell campaign he gave to Eleanor today? Hard to forget. Well, turns out Campbell specifically requested you, by name. They were impressed with your work on the Jensen account last year." The pad thai turns to ash in my mouth. "What?" "Leandro told them you were too inexperienced to handle their budget, that you'd requested to step back from major accounts to focus on smaller clients." The chopsticks snap in my grip. "He what?" "Oh, it gets better." Lincoln's eyes gleam. "Margaret's been helping him sabotage you for months, changing meeting times, losing files. She's gunning for your position." The betrayal hits like a physical blow. Margaret, who welcomed me my first day, who shared lunch breaks and client horror stories, who knew about my mother's cancer scare last year and covered my meetings without question. "How do you know all this?" "I still have friends at the firm. And unlike Leandro, I actually pay attention to the IT guys. They see everything." My mind is already racing ahead, connecting dots. The Campbell account is worth millions. If Eleanor screws it up, the firm could lose their biggest client. Lincoln nods. "And guess who Leandro will blame?" "Not himself. Never himself." I stand, pacing the length of my living room. "He'll need a scapegoat. Someone who worked on the account before Eleanor. Someone who's been difficult lately. Making waves." Lincoln watches me carefully. "Someone who might have copies of all the original work files." I stop pacing. "How did you know about the files?" "Because it's what I would have done. What I did do before I left." He sets down his food. "Listen, Rosalie, I didn't come here just to share gossip. I came to offer you a job." "What?" "My consulting firm is growing. We just landed 3 major contracts. I need someone with your skills, your drive, someone who isn't afraid to take risks." The offer hangs in the air between us. It's tempting, so tempting. A clean escape, a fresh start. But something else is taking shape in my mind. Something darker, more satisfying. "I appreciate the offer," I say slowly. "But I think I need to stay exactly where I am. For now." Lincoln studies me for a long moment. "You're planning something stupid, aren't you?" "Not stupid. Strategic." I open my laptop, pulling up the files I'd saved. "Leandro thinks he's teaching me about power? Fine. Let's see how he handles someone who actually knows how to use it." "Rosalie." Lincoln's voice carries a warning. "I know what I'm doing." "Do you?" "Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're choosing revenge over opportunity." "Maybe I'm choosing both." I turn the laptop to show him the email I've just opened. The one from Campbell's CEO, dated 3 months ago, specifically requesting me for the campaign. "Sometimes the best revenge is making your enemies destroy themselves." Lincoln reads the email, then looks up at me. "Holy shit. I think it's time to schedule a meeting with Campbell. The kind Leandro doesn't know about." I feel that cold clarity settling over me again. "Want to help?" He grins. reaching for his phone. I thought you'd never ask. The city lights seem brighter now, more purposeful. Tomorrow, Margaret will discover her access to the project's servers has been mysteriously revoked. Eleanor will find her preliminary designs for Campbell mysteriously leaked to their biggest competitor. And Leandro's about to learn that some lessons cut both ways. The chaos starts at exactly 9:17 a.m. I time it perfectly, right after the morning staff meeting, when everyone's settling into their routines. My phone erupts first, followed by my email. The Campbell team, discovering their campaign materials, have somehow landed in their competitor's lap. I watch through my office window as Leandro sprints past, his usually perfect hair disheveled. 3 minutes later, Eleanor follows, mascara already smearing from tears. I take a slow sip of coffee, savoring the moment. Rosalie, Margaret bursts into my office without knocking. Did you hear? The Campbell designs leaked? I keep my voice carefully neutral. How unfortunate. She sinks into the chair across from me, face pale. Eleanor's devastated. She worked all weekend on those designs. All weekend? I raise an eyebrow. That's impressive, considering the brief was only assigned to her yesterday. Margaret's expression flickers. Got you. Unless, I continue, she had access to those files before the official handover, which would be strange, wouldn't it? Almost as strange as my backup files disappearing last week. Rosalie, she stops as my computer pings. What was that? Oh, just an automatic notification. Apparently, there's been a security breach in the project servers. It's locking down access until they can investigate. I smile. You might want to check your login. She grabs her phone, fingers flying across the screen. I watch the color drain from her face as she realizes she's been locked out of everything. Email, servers, even the company intranet. What did you do? Her whisper carries equal parts fear and awe. Me? Nothing. But it seems someone's been accessing files they shouldn't, moving them, deleting them. The system logs everything, Margaret. Every login, every download, every deleted file. The silence stretches between us, heavy with unspoken accusations. Finally, she looks up, eyes wet. You don't understand, Leandro said. I understand perfectly. My voice stays steady, despite the anger burning in my chest. You chose your side. Now you get to live with it. A commotion erupts in the hallway. Raised voices, the sound of running feet. Margaret turns toward the noise, but I'm already standing. You should go, I tell her. I'm sure Leandro needs all hands on deck right now. She hesitates at the door. We used to be friends. We used to be a lot of things. After she leaves, I allow myself one moment of weakness, one moment to feel the hurt, the betrayal, the weight of burning bridges. Then I straighten my spine and check my phone. A text from Lincoln, Campbell's CEO, requesting emergency meeting. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. You ready? Before I can reply, Freya calls, my mentor from business school, the only person besides Lincoln who knows the full scope of my plan. It's starting, I tell her when I answer. Are you sure about this? Her voice carries that familiar mix of concern and steel. Once you take this meeting, there's no going back. They cross that line, not me. This isn't just about revenge anymore, is it? I watch through my window as Leandro paces the conference room, gesturing wildly at Eleanor and Margaret. No, it's about justice, about making sure they never do this to anyone else. Just remember what we talked about. Don't let anger make your decisions. I won't. But even as I say it, I feel that cold satisfaction spreading through my chest as Leandro slams his fist on the conference table. I'm thinking very clearly. After we hang up, I open my email. The message I've been crafting for days sits in my drafts folder. A detailed timeline of the Campbell account, complete with original briefs, client communications, and server logs showing exactly who accessed what files and when. One click would send it to the board of directors. Not yet, though. First, I need tomorrow's meeting. Need to see Leandro's face when he realizes Campbell isn't just keeping their account with us. They're insisting I run it. Need to watch him try to explain why he lied about their request for me in the first place. My phone buzzes with another text. This one from an unknown number. Heard what's happening. We should talk. I have information you need. E. Eleanor. Interesting. I save the number, but don't respond. Let her sweat. The office has gone quiet now, the initial panic settling into a tense hush. Through the glass walls, I see people huddled at their desks, whispering, watching. They know something bigger is coming. They just don't know what. I close my laptop and gather my things. Tomorrow will be a long day, and I need to be ready. As I pass the conference room, Leandro looks up, our eyes meeting briefly. I give him my brightest smile. Let him think he still has control. By this time tomorrow, he won't even have his job. The cafe Lincoln chose sits 2 blocks from Campbell's headquarters, close enough to be convenient, but far enough that we won't run into anyone from the meeting. My hands shake slightly as I add sugar to my coffee, the adrenaline from the morning finally wearing off. You're sure about those numbers? Lincoln asks, sliding into the seat across from me. Triple check them myself. I pull out my tablet, showing him the presentation I'd just delivered. Campbell's market research, perfectly aligned with my original proposal. The one Leandro claimed was amateur. And his face, when the CEO mentioned specifically requesting you. I allow myself a small smile, like he'd swallowed glass. Wish I could have seen it. Lincoln leans back, studying me. But something's bothering you. Sometimes I hate how well he knows me. Eleanor texted again this morning. Says she has proof Leandro's been running this same play with other female executives. Systematic sabotage, going back years. And you don't trust her? Of course not. But I tap my fingers against the warm ceramic mug. What if she's telling the truth? What if this is bigger than just me? Before Lincoln can respond, my phone buzzes. Margaret. Speaking of people you don't trust, Lincoln mutters as I answer. Can we meet? Margaret's voice sounds strained. Please, it's important. I check my watch. I have 15 minutes. I'm already outside the cafe. Of course she is. I spot her through the window, pacing nervously on the sidewalk. When she enters, her designer suit looks oddly rumpled, like she's been wearing it too long. Mind if I join? Lincoln asks as she approaches. The question isn't directed at me. Margaret hesitates, then nods. Smart choice. She sits, hands clasped tightly around her purse. Eleanor's lying, she says, without preamble. About the proof she claims to have, it's fake. She created it this morning, after. She swallows hard. After Leandro promised her my job. The pieces click into place. He's cutting you loose. He said I was a liability, that I'd been compromised. Her laugh holds no humor. Guess he's not wrong. Why are you telling me this? Because Eleanor's desperate. She knows the Campbell account is gone, knows you've got evidence of her involvement. She'll do anything to save herself, including setting you up. Margaret pulls out her phone, hands shaking. Look, the text chain she shows me makes my blood run cold. Eleanor and Leandro, planning to frame me for corporate espionage. Fabricated evidence showing I'd sold company secrets to competitors. Dated timestamps that would make it look like I'd been doing it for months. They're planting it tomorrow, Margaret says, in the system logs you used to prove the sabotage. It'll make everything you've shown the board look like part of your scheme. Lincoln leans forward. Why should we believe you? Because I saved everything. Margaret's voice hardens. Every email, every conversation, every meeting where Leandro outlined exactly how to systematically destroy someone's career. I was his favorite weapon until I wasn't anymore. My coffee has gone cold, forgotten. What do you want? Protection. When this breaks, I want immunity from the board. And she takes a deep breath. I want to make it right. Not just for you, but for everyone he's done this to. There are others, Lincoln asks quietly. Margaret nods. 3 in the past 2 years. All women, all rising stars, all gone now. I have their names, their stories. The real evidence Eleanor was talking about. I'm the one who has it. The weight of this revelation settles over our table. My personal vendetta suddenly feels small compared to the scope of what we're uncovering. If you're lying, I start. I'm not. I'll give you everything. Files, recordings, witnesses. But we have to move fast. Once they plant that evidence tomorrow, they won't. The cold clarity I've come to know so well returns, sharper than ever. Because we're moving tonight. Lincoln straightens. What are you thinking? I pull out my laptop, fingers flying across the keys. Margaret, forward me everything you have. Lincoln, call your IT contact. We're going to need server access. I look up at Margaret. You understand there's no going back from this. She meets my gaze steadily. I crossed that line a long time ago. At least this time I'm on the right side. My phone buzzes again. Eleanor, still fishing for a response. Let her wait. Let her and Leandro think their plan is still secret, still safe. By morning, they'll learn what real evidence looks like. And they'll learn it in front of the entire board. One more thing, Margaret says, as she stands to leave. Watch out for Freya. She's not who you think she is. The warning hits like ice water down my spine. But before I can ask what she means, Margaret is gone, leaving only her untouched coffee and the weight of another betrayal waiting to be uncovered. The boardroom feels different at night, emptier, more honest. My heels echo against marble as I make my way down the darkened hallway, guided by the glow of my phone. Lincoln's IT contact came through. We have 2 hours before the security system resets. Server rooms this way, Margaret whispers, leading me through the maze of corridors. Her hands shake as she swipes her keycard, but her voice stays steady. Everything's backed up here before going to the cloud. If they're planning to plant evidence, this is where they'll do it. I finish, following her inside. The hum of servers fills the air, along with the artificial chill of industrial cooling systems. How long? 10 minutes to download everything, maybe 15 to... She freezes, grabbing my arm. Did you hear that? Footsteps, coming closer. Hide, I hiss, pulling her behind a server bank. We barely make it before the door opens, spilling fluorescent light into the room. Hurry up, Leandro's voice carries clearly in the enclosed space. We need this done before the morning backup. I'm working as fast as I can. Eleanor, she sounds scared. But if anyone traces this back, they won't. The timestamps will show Rosalie's been selling information for months. By the time she realizes what's happening, her career will be over. My fingers tighten around my phone, already recording. Beside me, Margaret's breathing has gone shallow. And what about Margaret? Eleanor asks. She knows too much. Margaret's no longer our concern. By tomorrow, she'll be as discredited as Rosalie. A pause. Unless you're having second thoughts. No, this feels wrong. Wrong. Leandro laughs. You wanted her position. This is how you get it. How do you think I got where I am? By destroying people's lives? By understanding power. Now finish the upload. I have another meeting. At this hour? With Freya. She's been very helpful in managing this situation. The phone nearly slips from my grip. Margaret squeezes my arm. A warning or comfort, I'm not sure which. Freya, Eleanor sounds as shocked as I feel. Your source was Rosalie's mentor. Where do you think I got the idea to target her in the first place? Freya's been feeding me information for months. Every weakness, every insecurity, every pressure point. His voice drips satisfaction. It's amazing what people tell their mentors. The betrayal hits like a physical blow. Freya, who guided me through business school, who listened to my fears, my hopes, my plans, who knew about my mother's cancer, my father's abandonment, every vulnerable moment I'd trusted her with. I must make some sound, because Eleanor stops typing. What was that? Probably the cleaning crew. Leandro sounds dismissive. Are you done? Almost. There. Uploaded. Good. Let's go. We wait until their footsteps fade before emerging. My legs feel unsteady, but my mind is crystalline clear. Rosalie, Margaret starts. Download everything. I cut her off. Every file, every log, every piece of evidence they just planted. Then call Lincoln, tell him to meet us at my apartment. What are you going to do? I check my phone, 9:47 p.m. I'm going to follow Leandro, find out what else Freya's been sharing. That's too dangerous. If they catch you, they won't. I'm already moving toward the door, because you're going to create a distraction. How? I turn back, letting her see the cold fury I've been containing. Remember that email about the Campbell account? The one proving Leandro lied to the client. Send it to the board. All of them. Right now. That'll start a firestorm. Exactly. While they're dealing with that, I'll handle Freya. Understanding dawns in her eyes. You're not just gathering evidence anymore, are you? No. I check my lipstick in my phone's reflection. Perfect, professional, war paint. I'm burning everything down, starting with the people who taught me how. Rosalie, wait. She grabs my arm. There's something else you need to know about why Freya targeted you specifically. But before she can continue, both our phones buzz simultaneously. A company-wide email from Eleanor, sent to every employee, every board member, every client contact in the database, regarding systematic discrimination and corruption at executive levels. She broke, Margaret whispers. Eleanor actually broke. I scan the email quickly. Detailed accusations, dates, names. Eleanor's throwing everyone under the bus, including herself. Change of plans, I say, already dialing Lincoln. Tell the IT guy to lock down the servers. No one gets in or out. I start walking, purpose in every step. The game just changed, and I know exactly where Leandro's running to. Behind me, Margaret's voice carries a note of warning. Don't underestimate Freya. She's been playing this game longer than any of us. I smile, sharp and certain. Good. Then she'll appreciate what I'm about to do. Freya's office is exactly as I remember. Tastefully minimalist, with a view of the city that probably costs more than my annual salary. The lights are off, but I can make out her silhouette against the window, waiting. I wondered when you'd figure it out, she says, without turning around. Though I expected it sooner, you're usually quicker than this. Sorry to disappoint. I closed the door behind me. I was busy dealing with the mess you helped create. The mess I helped create? Now she turns, moonlight catching the silver in her hair. Or the opportunity I gave you. That stops me short. What? Oh, Rosalie. Her smile is familiar, the same one she wore when reviewing my business school applications. Did you think it was an accident that Leandro just happened to target the one person I knew could destroy him? The floor seems to shift under my feet. You planned this. I planted the seeds. You did exactly what I knew you would. Fought back, gathered evidence, built an airtight case. She gestures to the chair across from her desk. Sit, you look like you need it. I remain standing. Why? Because the firm needs change. Real change. Not just replacing one corrupt executive with another. She moves to her desk, pulls out a file. I've spent 15 years watching men like Leandro break promising careers. Watching the board ignore complaints, brush off evidence, protect their own. So you used me to stop it. The laugh that escapes me sounds hollow. By having him destroy my career. By giving you the chance to destroy his. Permanently. She opens the file, spreading photos across her desk. These are the others, the women before you, the ones who didn't fight back. I recognize some of the faces, rising stars who suddenly left, their departures marked by whispered rumors and knowing looks. I tried helping them directly, Freya continues, gave them evidence, encouraged them to report it. Know what happened? The board buried it. Every time, her voice hardens. But you're different. You don't just fight back, you annihilate. My phone buzzes. Lincoln, probably wondering why I haven't checked in. I ignore it. Eleanor's email just went public. I tell her, the whole system is about to burn. Good. She doesn't sound surprised. That was the point. You knew she would break? I knew you would push her to it. Just like I knew Margaret would turn on Leandro once he betrayed her. Just like I knew you'd record everything in that server room tonight. Ice spreads through my veins. You were there? No, but I knew Leandro's plan. Knew he'd try to frame you. Knew you'd catch him in the act. She leans forward. I know you, Rosalie. Better than you know yourself. Everything you told him about me, the pieces click into place with sickening clarity. My mother's cancer, my father leaving. You gave him weapons to use against me? I gave him rope to hang himself with. She stands, moving closer. Every vulnerability he exploited, every pressure point he pushed, it all goes in the lawsuit. Shows pattern, intent, malice. The lawsuit, she hands me another file, thick, legal looking. Already prepared, just needs your signature as the primary plaintiff. Once it goes public, the board will have no choice but to clean house. All of them, not just Leandro. My hands shake as I open it. Names, dates, evidence spanning years. A comprehensive case against not just Leandro, but the entire system that protected him. You're not just my mentor, are you? I look up at her. You're the one who's been feeding Lincoln information, the IT access, the client contacts. He's a good ally, like you. She touches my arm gently. Everything I did was to help you win. I jerk away from her touch. By manipulating me, using my trauma as a weapon. By showing you your own strength. Her voice stays calm, reasonable. Look what you've accomplished. In 1 week, you've done what I couldn't do in 15 years. My phone buzzes again. Margaret this time. A warning flashes across the screen. Leandro's coming. Get out. Sign it, Freya urges. End this, tonight. The lawsuit sits heavy in my hands. Justice served cold, calculated, perfect, everything I wanted. So why does it feel like another manipulation? Footsteps echo in the hallway. Running. Time to choose, Rosalie. Freya holds out a pen. Are you a victim or a victor? I look at the pen, then at her. The mentor who guided me, the puppet master who used me, the woman who might be both. Neither, I say, tucking the lawsuit into my bag. I'm something much more dangerous. I'm at the door when she calls after me. What's that? I turn back, letting her see the truth in my smile. I'm the one who gets to choose how this story ends. The footsteps are closer now. Time to move. But first, I have a different file to send to the board, one that shows exactly how deep this manipulation goes. The boardroom erupts into chaos the moment I finish speaking. 15 faces stare at me in varying stages of shock, anger, and disbelief. The evidence I've just presented glows on the screen behind me. Emails, recordings, photographs, years of systematic destruction, all laid bare in pristine digital clarity. Leandro stands first, his carefully maintained composure finally cracking. This is absurd. A desperate attempt by a disgruntled employee to what? I cut him off, my voice steady. To expose how you deliberately sabotaged multiple careers. To reveal how the board ignored complaints? Or to show how Freya orchestrated this whole thing. That last part draws shocked whispers. Freya, sitting at the far end of the table, doesn't flinch. If anything, she looks proud. Everything I did, Leandro starts, was for the good of this firm. To maintain standards. Standards. Eleanor's laugh sounds slightly hysterical. She hasn't stopped shaking since she arrived. Tell them about your standards, Leandro. Tell them what you made me do. Eleanor, he warns. No. She stands, tears streaming down her face. I'm done being afraid of you. The boardroom door opens and Margaret slips in, followed by Lincoln. Right on time. The police have some questions, Lincoln announces, about certain financial irregularities we've uncovered. Leandro's face goes ash white. You can't prove. Actually, Margaret interrupts, setting a thick folder on the table. We can prove everything, including where the money went. The board chairman rises slowly, his expression thunderous. Mr. Mason, I suggest you sit down. This is a witch hunt, Leandro snarls, but I see the fear in his eyes. Rosalie's manipulating you all. Like you manipulated Sarah, I ask quietly. Or Jennifer, or Maria. With each name, I place a photo on the table. Women who came before me, women whose careers he destroyed. You don't understand, he tries again, desperately looking around the room for allies, finding none. The pressure to maintain our reputation. Save it for the police. The chairman's voice could freeze hell. Security is waiting outside. You're making a mistake. Leandro turns to Freya. Tell them. Tell them what she's really like. Freya stands, straightening her impeccable suit. What Rosalie is, she says carefully, is exactly what I made her to be, a weapon, my greatest success. She smiles at me, maternal and predatory, all at once. Though perhaps I succeeded too well. What does that mean? The chairman demands. It means, I say, clicking to the next slide, that Freya's been playing both sides for years, mentoring promising women, then helping Leandro destroy them, creating victims so she could swoop in with her lawsuit, position herself as a savior. The room goes deadly quiet. Each failure made the next case stronger, I continue. Each destroyed career added weight to her evidence, until she found someone who wouldn't break, someone who'd fight back exactly the way she planned. I meet her eyes across the table. Isn't that right? For the first time, Freya's composure cracks. Everything I did was for yourself. My voice doesn't shake. You didn't want justice, you wanted power. And you don't? She challenges. Look at what you've accomplished. Everything I taught you. Taught me to be like you? I shake my head. That's where you failed. Because I learned something different. I turn to address the board directly. I learned that real power isn't about destroying people. It's about choosing not to, even when you can. Security enters silently, moving toward Leandro. He looks trapped, dangerous. You'll regret this, he hisses. No, I smile, genuine this time. I'll succeed, despite you, not because of you, and that's what will haunt you. As security leads him out, Eleanor breaks down completely. Margaret moves to comfort her, shooting me a questioning look. I nod. Everyone deserves a chance at redemption. The lawsuit, Freya says suddenly. You still need me for that. The evidence has already been turned over to the proper authorities. Lincoln steps forward, along with proof of your involvement. The chairman clears his throat. Ms. Fernandez, the board would like to discuss your future with the firm. Actually, I say, gathering my things, I don't think that's necessary. You're leaving? Eleanor looks panicked. After everything? Not leaving, evolving. I meet Lincoln's eyes, see his proud smile, starting something new, something better. And what about us? Margaret asks quietly. I pause at the door, looking back at the room full of broken systems and wounded people. That's up to you. Change is possible, but it has to be real, not just replacing one power structure with another. Freya stands, one last attempt. Rosalie, think about, I have. I cut her off. Thank you for the lessons, Freya, all of them, even the ones you didn't mean to teach. The morning sun hits my face as I walk out. Lincoln beside me, behind us, the past. Ahead, something new, something honest, something mine. The new office still smells of fresh paint and possibility. Floor-to-ceiling windows flood the space with morning light, illuminating empty desks waiting to be filled. My heels click against hardwood as I walk the perimeter, touching each surface, making it real. Stop obsessing, Lincoln calls from the conference room. The furniture's not going anywhere. I'm not obsessing, I'm appreciating. Same thing. He emerges with a stack of resumes. First interviews start in an hour. You ready? Before I can answer, the elevator chimes. Margaret steps out, looking different in casual clothes, more herself somehow. Sorry I'm early, she says, but there's something you need to see. She hands me her phone. A news alert shows Leandro being led from his home in handcuffs, the headline detailing charges of financial fraud and corporate espionage. Below that, another headline. Prominent business mentor arrested in connection with systematic career sabotage scheme. Freya's not taking any deals, Margaret says. She's threatening to expose every corporate secret she knows. Let her. I hand the phone back. Some things need exposing. That's actually why I'm here. She glances at Lincoln, who nods encouragingly. I've been thinking about your offer. The offer I made 2 weeks ago, after everything imploded, a chance to help build something new. And I want in, but not as an employee. She straightens her spine. I want to be a partner. I have savings, and with my settlement from the firm. No, I cut her off, watching her face fall. Not with the settlement money. That's yours. Your compensation for what they did to you. I move to my desk, pull out a contract. But I already had the partnership papers drawn up. Was just waiting for you to ask. Her hands shake as she takes the document. You knew I would. I hoped. I smile. We all deserve second chances. Even recovering enablers. Speaking of second chances, Lincoln interrupts, checking his phone. Eleanor's here, early for her interview. My stomach tightens. Eleanor, who broke the story wide open, who chose truth over power at the last moment, who's still learning who she is without Leandro's influence. Send her up. While we wait, Margaret examines the empty office. It's strange. All those years at the firm, fighting for scraps of recognition. Now we're actually building something. Something better, I finish. Something honest. The elevator chimes again. Eleanor steps out, wearing a simple blazer instead of her usual designer suits. She carries herself differently now. Less artificial polish, more genuine strength. Before we start, she says, I need to tell you something. She pulls out a familiar-looking file. Freya contacted me. Offered me immunity if I'd testify that you manipulated everything. That you set Leandro up. The air goes still. Lincoln moves closer, protective. What did you say? I ask quietly. I said she taught me what real manipulation looks like. Eleanor's smile is small but genuine, and that I'm done being anyone's weapon but my own. Pride and relief flood through me. That's exactly what I hoped you'd say. I take the file, drop it in the shredder without opening it. Now let's talk about your role here. I thought this was an interview. It is, for our new creative director position. Her eyes widen. But after everything I did, you did terrible things, I acknowledge. And then you chose to do better. That's exactly the kind of person I want helping others navigate this industry. Tears spill down her cheeks, but her voice stays steady. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I grin. Wait until you see the workload. The morning light stretches across the floor as we settle into planning mode. Margaret arranging desks, Lincoln reviewing candidates, Eleanor sketching organizational structures on the whiteboard. All of us damaged, all of us healing, all of us choosing to build rather than destroy. My phone buzzes, a text from the detective handling Leandro's case. Need your statement tomorrow, re Freya's involvement. I type back, I'll be there. Some stories need to be told. Looking around the sunlit office, at these people who've chosen to rise above their worst moments, I feel something settle in my chest. Not the cold clarity of revenge, but something warmer, something real. All right, I say, drawing their attention. Let's create something they never could, something true. Together, we begin. Not with destruction, but with hope. Not with power, but with purpose. Not with fear, but with freedom. And this time, we write our own stories.